say hello to the world's best known police motorcycle, the BMW R1250RT. Riser Tourer, or Travel Tourer as BMW has called it, except it should really be called the ST, the Sports Tourer, because this is not your old man's Sunday cruiser. The last time the RT was updated was in 2019 when BMW stuck its brand new 1250 shift cam engine in it and left everything else the same. But for 2021, the whole front end of the bike has gotten an overhaul.
I first took the RT out for a ride in the city to see if I could live with it as a daily driver.
It's a balmy 11 degrees centigrade this morning. Just one of those times that you really appreciate a good heated seat and some heated grips. In the city, I prefer to have the windshield in a more down position, not all the way down, but if it's all the way up, the line where it ends here sits right at the horizon line, and that becomes bothersome. At slow speeds, you can really feel all of its 280 kilograms. But once you start rolling, you're fine. It's not top heavy, which is good. The center of gravity is low, but it seems like it's more front heavy. Because once you really slow down, the front just wants to do its own thing. I'm a huge fan of keyless ride, especially in the city. You don't have to faff around with the keys. And I especially like these little cubby holes. You put your phone. It's a pity that you can't open them while you're riding, in case, you know, there's something you need to get at. And the central locking, this little button, especially in the city, it is extremely useful. One button, all the cubby holes are locked, panniers are locked, the top case is locked.
The side cases will fit a full-faced helmet. Unfortunately, they still open from the side because of reasons, while the top case with its integrated night light will fit two full-faced helmets.
I know a lot of people are complaining that BMW didn't put a physical button here for the heated grips and the heated seat, and you have to faff around with the menu. You have these little shortcut buttons here. And number 2, I think, takes you straight to the grip and heat seating, so yeah, not a huge problem.
Alright, let's talk about the elephant in the room first. This beautiful, almost 10.5-inch instrument cluster. No more need for a separate navigation. Everything is integrated in here right now. You've got 3 types of, let's call them, screens that you can display. One of them would be this one, where 2/3 of the tablet is your usual bike stuff, and then the other third can either be a trip computer, navigation, radio, other sort of useful information. The second mode would be completely the bike info, and the third mode, you would need your phone for that. You'd have to start the connected app, BMW's app, and then it would be this map mode. It says starting map mode. Unable to join the network. Well, this is why I love technology. There we go, now it's in map mode, but you have to keep your phone unlocked. This is one of the downsides. Just throw it into this little cubby hole, create a route. Let's say Bucharest, options fast. Let's go with winding. Go. Then when we go to navigation here, the whole screen is basically your map with your directions. But of course you're getting all the important motorbike stuff as well.
Next up, we went for a ride on the good old bumpy roads of Romania.
I'm sure it's impossible to see with the GoPro, but this is a very bumpy road and I'm pleasantly surprised by the suspension. Now, I remember with the older model, I really had some trouble with the suspension setup. I just couldn't find the perfect setup for me, specifically on these bumpy roads. It was just too hard, and no matter what I adjusted, I just couldn't find it perfect for me. But this one seems to be doing the job very well, because none of these bumps are getting through to my butt, which is good.
BMW's telelever suspension, coupled together with the optional electronic suspension, uses sensors to detect compression, acceleration and deceleration, automatically adjusting the damping, while the automatic self-leveling adjusts the onboard weight and its distribution, so you're always on a level plane.
I am dying to try out this new radar cruise control, so let's catch up to that guy. See how it works. I've set it for 90. You can change how far back the bike stays by pushing this button here, and you've got 3 different levels. This would be very close, this would be the furthest away. So now it's slowing down. He's braking, let's see what's happening. This is freaky. Okay, so the bike's done all of that. We're doing 60 now. Now it's accelerating. Hold on, it's stopping. Let's see what happens. It's braking. It's doing everything automatically. I haven't done anything. I haven't touched the brake. Nah, it's disengaged now. It's now set for 54. That car is too far away for the radar to pick it up, and now the little car icons disappeared here as well. So empty road according to the radar. What I have noticed is that if you pull the clutch lever in, it's not going to disengage the cruise control, which means that you can change gears. It will, however, get disengaged if you pull the brake lever, which is perfect. I love that engine. I truly do. The first thing you notice when you get on the RT is something very weird. It feels too sporty. The seating position is too sporty, and I was expecting to feel more tourish. I mean, my arms are pretty much straight. The foot pegs are slanted at an angle, so you're sitting in a sportier position. I'm not a major fan of the seating position, which is weird. I mean, this is a long distance tourer, but it's got this sort of half touring and half sporty seating position. I guess we'll have to see how comfortable it is for long rides.
As it turns out, at least for me, at 1.8 meters tall, not very comfortable after an entire day's ride. My right hand was hurting quite a bit, and that was probably because the handlebars are too low down and they force my arms to sit at quite a straight angle. And my back was basically pins and needles as well because of the sportier sitting position. There are aftermarket risers that you can put on, and I'm sure these will get you a more comfortable up straight seating position. The distance from the seat to the foot pegs, even in its highest position, I find to be too small. That is also reflected by the slanted foot pegs, and this ends up in a more sportier, cramped position, not really what you would want for long distance touring.
I've put the seat at the highest position and my legs are still a bit cramped. But the problem is that my right hand is starting to hurt now. And it hasn't been that long riding. That's because it's too straight. The mirrors exactly the same as on the old RT. You have to get used to them being so down low. And they're not bad, just that a third of them is filled up by the levers and the handlebars and the panniers. So that's some lost real estate there. That Akrapovic exhaust really makes a difference here. That is one beautiful sound. Let's try out big radio over there. See what we've got on. See how loud it is. That is loud. At 70 km an hour, that is loud. That is very loud.
This is BMW's audio system 2.0. It comes with updated speakers. You can play your music from your phone, either through USB or Bluetooth, and you can listen to radio, which also includes digital radio. At more than about 120 kilometers per hour, you might as well be singing to yourself because you'll not be getting any audio pleasure from these speakers.
Let's try out that horn now. I'm really curious. BMW, now that's how you do horns from now on. Any motorcycle you make, that's how you do horns. Alright, let's do a bit of highway riding. See how the new RT handles on the highway. With the old RT, one of the big problems I had with it was exactly this type of highway riding. I don't know why, and I asked BMW and they said I was going nuts. There was this vortex or something was happening with the wind that was going over the windshield, and it was pushing me from the back towards the handlebars, and it became very uncomfortable because my hands would really start to hurt then, and so would my back. But since they redesigned the front here, they seem to have sorted that issue out because I'm not getting pulled towards the front of the bike at all, so very glad about that. With the windshield in its top position, the wind is basically going right over my head. I do feel it a little bit on the shoulders, but that's about it. Now this is very smooth. I mean, you could do lots of kilometers on the highway. You'll probably get bored, but at least you'll be comfortable and bored.
The new RT comes with full LED cornering lights, and unlike other implementations of this system on the market, including on other bikes from BMW, the RT has a built-in gyroscope system which keeps the main headlight level. The end result is by far the best lighting solution I have ever tested on a motorcycle. With both the auxiliary lights and the high beam turned on, everything is perfectly visible at night.
Alright, now for the fun part of the show, stuff I don't like about the new RT. With all the technology that it's boasting, and it really has it, I would have expected to find Apple CarPlay and Android Auto already on this bike. But alas, they are nowhere to be found. Now, while I appreciate BMW's map navigation software that they've worked very hard to actually get working, I want to use my own apps. Stuff like Waze or Google Maps, whatever I'm already used to using. Secondly, illuminated switchgear. The 4 shortcut buttons on the RT are now illuminated, but the rest of the switchgear isn't. And I know people have been asking about illuminated switchgear since the Earth started turning. I've got a couple of questions that you guys have sent in for stuff that you wanted to know about the new RT. How does it compare to the GS 1250 Adventure? Obviously not for off-road purposes, but as a road tourer. Is it comfier or even similar to the GSA on bumpy roads? The ride in all respects compared to the GS? This has been the most popular question so far. Which one should you get if you're not interested in off-road use at all? The RT or the GS? The short answer to this is surprisingly the GS. And BMW's sales numbers back this up, because even though most GSs will never see the warm glow of a dirt road, they outsell the RT by a huge factor. The long answer, however, is the following.
I think I'll do a separate video just on this topic alone, but the TLDR is this. I have never gotten off my GS after spending the entire day in the saddle and felt sore. But thanks to the sportier seating position of the RT, I feel tired a lot sooner than on the GS. The suspension travel on the RT when compared to the GS Adventure is almost halved at 120mm or 4.7 inches, and while I didn't feel the need for more, this all depends on the type of terrain you're riding on. Being priced around the same, the RT has the cool new radar cruise control and that great TFT. Until now it's also had the heated seat from the factory, but the 2021 GS range has gotten that as well. But for long distance touring, the GS takes the cake for me.
How's the seating position for a tall rider? Now, I'm 1.8 meters tall and I do feel a little bit cramped here compared to how I feel on the GS. So as a tall rider, I think you're going to feel even more cramped in your leg area. Best thing is for you to go test it out. Can you wheelie it? No, I can't do that. Somebody else probably can, but I can't. Can you take the panniers off? So, the final verdict, what do I think of the new RT? BMW has done a great job of updating it for 2021. The front looks a lot sleeker, it's got a lot more straight lines, and the technology they've managed to pack into it is just mind-numbing. You've got linked braking, meaning that you never really have to touch the rear brake. The bike will do that for you automatically. You've got one of the smartest suspension setups, paralever and telelever, linked to the bike's computer, which will adjust it dynamically while you're riding, so you're always level, and will also adjust the ride height according to your weight. Radar cruise control, the best TFT dash I've ever seen on a motorcycle. Central locking, keyless ride, shaft drive, wireless phone charging. I mean, that's just mental. The Germans have truly done an outstanding job when it comes to comfortable sport touring. But I would still get the GS. I think it is by far the most superior bike out of the two. And as far as competition goes, it basically has no competitors apart from other offerings from BMW. The Honda Goldwing could be the closest one, but that is just in a different class altogether. However, this is just my opinion. If you're on the fence about it, BMW has never shied away from letting you test ride their bikes. So take half a day off, ride the RT, then ride the GS, and then decide for yourself. I hope you guys have enjoyed this review as much as I've enjoyed making it. If there's anything else I haven't covered, the comment section below is the place for you. I'd love to hear your comments on it. You know I read all of them. Well, that's the show for today, everyone. If you've enjoyed it, give it a big thumbs up, and if you think you've learned something new, consider subscribing or becoming one of our patrons to help us make more of these shows. Cheers, and I'll see you on the next one.